Hi folks, Wooden Boat Dan here. Just wanted to give you a heads up. The podcast you're about to listen to was recorded several years ago, so some of the phone numbers, email addresses, website links, and time-sensitive information are no longer valid. Please keep that in mind as you listen. If you'd like to contact me, my email address is woodenboatdan@gmail.com. Thank you and enjoy the podcast. Welcome to Hooked on Wooden Boats, podcast episode number 130. I'm your host, Dan Matson, aka Wooden Boat Dan. If you can't do it, well, you know the story there. And this is the world's first podcast fully dedicated to celebrating the art, craft, history, tradition, and romance of wooden vessels around the globe and in extraterrestrial places. There could be wooden boats in other planets, I think. Probably wooden ships and all kinds of fun stuff. Anyway, welcome to the podcast today. Great to have you on board. Episode number 130. This is a bi-weekly podcast about getting in the wooden boat game and having some fun. Today is another action-packed episode, and a featured segment today is an interview I did with Korey and Christina, who are from Florida, moved up to Port Townsend, Washington in August, or I guess it was September of last year from Florida, so Korey could go to the boat school. It's a really fun interview. Korey talks about his first 6 or 7 months there and what's going on, and Christina talks about what she's up to. It's really a good time. These are good friends of mine that I just met through the podcast about a year and a half ago. So stick around for that interview. I think you're going to like it. In the ongoing saga of converting my 2-car garage to storage for everything we can't get in our house, and a wood shop, and a place for my Amazon business, yesterday I spent probably half a day creatively putting a wood rack over the top of my garage door. So when my garage door rolls up into, it doesn't roll up, it folds up into the top of my garage. There's about a 17-inch space above that. So I built a heavy-duty wood rack above the garage door there out of 2x4s and some metal brackets, and secured it to the garage ceiling joist. And so now I got all my wood, and I typically have an assortment of 2x4s and 1x2s and some cedar and just miscellaneous things I've collected over the years that I use here and there. I got that up on the wood rack over the door, out of the way. I had some of it stacked outside, which is driving me crazy. I don't like junky looking stuff, and I don't want my wood to get wet and then dry out and rot and all that fun stuff. So I got that all up. And it's pretty cool because my garage door will go up and down, and it's space that I couldn't use really for anything else. And now I got a bunch of wood up there. The rack is 64 inches wide, and it's 6 feet deep, so I can put boards easily up to 10 feet on it. So that's pretty cool. And I may put one more of those up on the other side of my garage door opener channel. So I'm getting there, folks. It's a slow process. It's like a puzzle putting this shop together. But now that I've got that rack up, I'm going to put a shelf up, and that'll get a few more boxes out of my way. And then I may put a second rack up because I've still got to figure out what to do with my plywood and that sort of thing. And if I put it on an overhead rack, it's not going to be super convenient because the plywood will be laying on top of each sheet, will be laying on top of the next sheet. So to get something out won't be real fun. However, it'll get it out of the way so I've got room for my tools and things. And I think I mentioned before that a friend of mine's given me a table saw that needs to have a new fence installed, and it's a Grizzly. So I've got to get that in the shop too, and I'm working on my Amazon business, buying and selling, doing some retail arbitrage, which is pretty fascinating, making a little bit of money. Hoping to grow that business as part of my income over the years. So we'll see how that goes. got a couple new subscribers to my newsletter, my monthly e-newsletter, Jeff Wilson and Stephen Shepard. Welcome to the newsletter, guys. Good to have you on board. If you would like to receive my monthly e-newsletter, which I actually have one due now because I didn't do one in April, so I got to get one out this week, probably be next week actually. You can go to hookedonwoodenboats.com/subscribe, give me your name, email address, and you'll be all signed up, and it's free, and it's just a way for me to connect with people and share some resources and fun things. So please do that if you haven't already. Okay, I've got a voice message I want to play here from Pete Bergstrom. Pete was actually featured in one of my podcasts last year. He's a guy in Illinois that did a church program. Basically, with a group of youth, they built a wooden boat together as kind of a team building exercise and skill building, and did an interview about that with Pete. And actually, I'm going to look it up here real quick. Hold on just a second. Yes, that is episode 111. So if you go to hookedonwoodenboats.com/111, you can listen to that interview I did with Pete. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play the voicemail feedback here. Take it away, Pete.
Dan, good morning. This is Pete Bergstrom calling from China on one of my business trips. I just wanted to thank you for your continued work. It's a great way for me to be connected and stay at home and keep my interest in wooden boats going. So I hope you're having a great day, and I really appreciate everything that you do for this avocation that I and so many others share. Thanks, and have a wonderful week. Bye.
Thanks for your kind feedback, Pete. I appreciate it. And I've never been to China. It must be pretty fascinating over there. They've got some wooden boats in China, too, I know. So I hope you got to see some of those. Anyway, we're going to move on now to the featured segment with Korey and Christina, who now live in Chimacum, Washington, which is right near Port Hadlock, which is where the Northwest School of Wooden Boat Building is. So take it away, Korey and Christina. Okay, it is April 22nd, 2014. I am on the phone with Korey Ruben. Korey, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, Dan. Good to be here.
Yeah. So Korey is a student at the Northwest School of Wooden Boat Building in Port Hadlock. And did you start in September, Korey?
Yeah, it started October, I think it was the 1st or the 2nd.
Okay, October 1st or 2nd, right. So Korey and Christina, who we'll talk to in a minute, are from Florida. So Korey, just give us, I know you mentioned this, we did a podcast last September, but for those listening that didn't hear that, just give us a quick overview of how you ended up to school and why you're there.
Yeah, sure. We were living in Florida. Christina and I were working together. And I had lived on a couple fiberglass boats, and I started sailing maybe 5 years ago, and I lived on boats for a couple of years and did a lot of sailing just on the intercoastal waterway there, and just really fell in love with it and was looking to take it to the next level, but I hadn't really found an avenue. And I found your podcast, and I listened to all the interviews that you've done of the school and looked into the town, and basically went out and met you for that first boat festival 2 years ago now, and just had an awesome time and met you, and kind of just been rolling from there. And we decided to come out. We came out the next year. We drove out, and it's been just taken off ever since. Just met a lot of people and been enjoying boat school, and everything is going great. Getting into design a little bit. Our intent from the beginning was to build a boat and go voyaging. So
who does?
We're still hanging on to that, but we're kind of just going with the flow a little bit.
Okay. So Korey, you're about 6-7 months into school. What's it? Tell me what it's been like, and some of the things you've done, and maybe some of your favorite projects that you're working on.
Sure. Yeah, I'm in large craft, and that's in the Hammond shop, which is up the hill, the larger shop. And we've got a couple cool projects going on. We've got a spec boat, the Hanson, that Peter Bailey, a new instructor this year, is leading. And that boat's in the planking and decking stage. So through all the projects, you get a taste of all the different parts of traditional wooden boat building, and the same kind of goes for the contemporary guys too. So it's hard to see a boat go from start to finish unless you're in small craft. So that's kind of the upside to being in small craft. But I've learned a lot about handling big timbers and boring huge holes and chopping lots of rabbits and all that stuff on the different boats. The boat I'm on is a 36-foot motor sailor, the Sea Beast, and that's actually a commission. So that's supposed to be a 3-year project. We're just building, we lofted it, and we're building the backbone now and piecing everything together. I've been sitting on an apple box chopping a rabbit for the last week, so
Really?
it's been fun. It's cool to see it come together, and I've kind of bounced around to a bunch of different stuff. I started in the lofting, and then I went to building the transom, which is a really complicated transom on this thing. The owner wanted a door in it, which is kind of odd for a traditional boat, so we had to engineer that. And we've been talking with the designer on it. He was a pretty cool guy, and yeah, it's been fun. It's definitely everybody's settled in now this far into the year, so it's been good working with everybody. Everybody knows everybody. Learning a lot. Definitely learning a lot. Trying to bounce around. It's pretty free. It's pretty free culture. You kind of, no one's gonna baby you really, so it's kind of, they'll make sure you get a taste of everything. But I definitely go out of my way to say, hey, Peter, let me throw some planks on. Show me how to put a floor timber in, whatever it is, and then kind of bounce back and forth. Ben Kahn is my instructor. He's heading up the Sea Beast project. So yeah, it's good. It's good. I enjoy going to school every day.
Yeah. So what does a school day typically look like, Korey?
Well, you go down a hill out of Port Hadlock into lower Port Hadlock, and it's pretty down there. The main school and the office is right on the water, and the shop kind of hangs out over the water in the classroom. So come in every day, and we usually have a 2-hour lecture by Jeff Hammond, and he's been walking us through the building of a traditional sailboat, full keel heavy displacement sailboat, and start to finish. So that's been cool. It's definitely a nice place to be. There are many worse places to be. It's definitely pretty, especially on the days the sun's out.
Yeah. So you're there 8 hours a day pretty much, Monday to Friday, Korey?
Yeah, it's like a job. Definitely. Some days go faster than others, but usually makes for pretty quick days.
So did I see it? What's that?
No, I was saying it turns into a job when you have your task, and sometimes you'll work on a piece with a buddy or just by yourself for a week or more, and it kind of come in and go to work,
Yeah. So I think I saw a picture of you cutting a rabbit. Was that in a big piece of? I can't think of the stuff. What's the
Purple Heart?
Purple Heart, right?
Yeah, really.
Which is really dense wood stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely trying to keep the chisel sharp on a day-to-day basis, on a 10-minute basis, pretty much.
Yeah. So how many students are there?
Just for that. Go ahead.
How many students are there these days, Korey?
Unfortunately, we did drop a couple, but it was a pretty heavy class in the beginning. I think we had 50, right around 50, and I think we're still at 45-ish, maybe more. We're all split up. You've got contemporary, small craft, and large craft, and half of contemporary is down the school. Small craft is down by the water, and then the other half of contemporary is up with all of large craft. in the Hammond shop. And then that's split up between 3 instructors. So it can be, it's been pretty quiet. Everybody's been pretty busy. The boat goes through different stages, so sometimes you'll have a bunch of guys standing around for a day, you know, just grabbing odd jobs, and then you'll get into a new stage of the boat and everybody's working and busy. Mm-hmm. So right now we're piecing the backbone together on the motor sailor, so that's been, everybody's pretty much had a job. So yeah, just putting that together, and between that and making sure the lines on the loft floor don't disappear, we pretty much got full-time jobs right now.
Yeah. Wow. So are you in the 12-month or the full year program, Korey?
Yep, I'm doing the year.
Mm-hmm. So what will you be doing for the next 3 or 4 months then? Do things change for you, or?
Yeah, the last quarter after our little summer vacay is you have a choice of yacht interiors or repair and restoration, and I opted for the interiors because I just haven't had too much experience with, like a lot of guys have made cabinets and made furniture and things like that, and I haven't done too much of that myself, so I figured I'd get that and also be able to spile to fit it into a curved shape, which, you know, can't be too easy. And also Jeff Hammond's teaching it, and I have not worked with him in the shop this year, just in lecture, because he teaches small craft. So I opted for that, and I figured there's a lot of work too if I ever wanted to put interiors in boats, sailboats, or pretty much all boats. Nicer boats will have a wood interior still. So
yeah,
there's always work there, but I'm hoping to pick up a lot of the restoration stuff just over the years, and there's a good network of people here if you stay to talk to and bounce ideas off of and everything. So yeah, I'm going with interiors. So that'll be the last quarter.
Okay.
Before the year's up.
Cool. So Korey, what do you plan to do after school?
Well, it changes every week, but we really like the area, and a lot of guys up and leave the second school gets out. But I know for a fact we'll be here at least a month after school, and we'd like to do that whole building a boat thing. Right now, we kind of have the word out that we're looking for lumber, preferably dry, seasoned, boat-worthy lumber. But if it has to be seasoned, hey, we're young, you know. We'll wait it out. Maybe go do a little sailing in the meantime. But yeah, we're gonna try to build a boat, and if that is more, if that goes easier heading back east, then, you know, we'll do whatever it takes to see it happen. But we definitely want to build a boat here, and Sebastian Egert over at Rain Shadow, he's been awesome with us. He'd like to see us do it, and has offered to lend us a hand and a little piece of property to do it on. So
wow,
just trying to come up with lumber right now, and I'm trying to get the know-how down too at school every day. So yeah. I've been in the designs and just looking for wood basically.
So have you decided what design you're going to build, or are you going to design your own, Korey, or? Yeah,
that's a funny thing, because when I was in Florida, I was just in love with the pilot cutter look. Just heavy displacement, full keeled boat, the more classic ocean cruiser. And I've kind of gone full circle since we've gotten here. Peter Bailey at school, we were going to lunch one day, and it cost me a book, and it was the Good Little Ship by Vincent Gilpin, and it's about a designer in the late 1800s named Commodore Monroe, Ralph Middleton Monroe, and he designed some really cool shoal draft boats, just long, beamy shoal draft boats, which is complete opposite of what I was into, but that's kind of the way I go sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to come all the way out to the northwest from the southeast to figure out that I'm into a boat from back home. So that's kind of where I'm at now, but there's not a lot of material on it, so I'm in detective mode right now. I know there's little bits here and there, and there's some couple shipwrights, I think, up in the boat haven who have built some of the smaller models that he had, but not that I'm looking at the Presto series. It's a really interesting boat. If any of your listeners want to check them out, but there's not much on him. A hurricane kind of ruined his boathouse, which was his office, and all of his designs were lost, and all that really exists today are a few pictures and a few redrawn designs, to my knowledge, of his boats. So I've been kind of uncovering those and just learning the different aspects of them and how I would go about building it. So that's been my pursuit lately. So we'll see where that goes. But like I said, it changes every week. So.
Yeah. Well, you got some time anyway, right?
Yeah. I'm in the right place to ask questions, though. That's for sure. I'm glad we came in here. So it's definitely been a conducive environment for wooden boat questions.
So what's it like been living in the Port Townsend area compared to where you came from in Florida?
Well, it is not as flat. It's not as sunny, but that hasn't bothered us as much as it seems to bother some other people. We kind of enjoy the change in scenery. The people are all pretty cool for the most part. We've made some really good friends. Yeah, it's good. We definitely enjoy it. Mm-hmm. We did a little house sitting up there in Uptown for a little while, and I think we're going to be back up that way after the boat festival again in a different house. We've kind of fallen into house sitting.
Cool.
So yeah, everything's good. Definitely enjoying the area and keeping busy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Another big side of being here is if you there's a lot of events, either sailing or just community, like the Community Boat Project, which is just up the hill a little further from the school. And Wayne Chimeni runs it, and he'll take you out sailing on Saturdays. And Christina's been doing the sailor science program with kids from the schools. So a lot of chances to get out on the water and enjoy it, which makes any seaside town a whole lot more fun.
Yeah.
A lot of avenues.
Wow. Is Christina available for a minute?
Yeah, I'll let her tell you about it.
Okay.
All right, thanks, man. All right, here she is.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Christina, how you doing?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. We haven't talked for a while.
It's been quite a while.
Since last September, I think. So.
I know.
Well, so for those listening, Christina came out with Korey last September and is supporting Korey morally and emotionally and all that stuff while he's in school. And what have you been up to, Christina, in the last 6 or 7 months?
I have been working. I work for a vacation rental property business, and I help manage the rental properties. So I do that during the day. And then I also have been volunteering for the Community Boat Project for the Sailor Scientists class on Wednesdays. It takes some of the alternative schools, such as the Pie and Waldorf programs in the area, and takes the kids, and we go out in the water in a sailing and rowing vessel. And we also teach ecology as well as measuring pH and water quality and whatnot. So I've been doing that, and I just got back from the East Coast, though, for being away for 6 weeks. So it's really nice to be back in Port Townsend.
Yeah, wow, you went back. Did you go to Florida for 6 weeks?
Well, I went to South Carolina for a wedding, and then I went to Alabama to spend some time with my mom. And then I met up with Korey, who flew back over to Florida, and his family owned some property in Tennessee, and I met up with him, and we went to Tennessee, and then we went to Florida for a week.
Wow.
So I was kind of bouncing around the South.
Yeah, that must have been fun.
Oh, yeah, it was. It is really nice to be back there. It's nice to be back around the people.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're a biologist yourself, so teaching science on these boats probably right up your alley, right?
Yeah, actually, half the time I'm learning more from the kids than they are from me, unfortunately, only because they've grown up in this area and have a lot to teach me about the ecology and especially the wildlife. So that's been really fun for me to feel like I'm getting more out of it than them, but they don't know that.
You keep it a secret, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's with Wayne Chimene, that community boat program, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
On the classes, though, are usually run by his daughter, Naja, and at least that's who I do the Wednesday class with, is Naja Chimene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So during that class, you get out on the water then, usually, Christina?
Yeah, actually, most Wednesdays, we have a really good record, I guess, this year of getting out on the water more than ever before. Even when it's, a little gusty and a little rainy, we still get out there and either get some rowing in and do some exploring or teach some sailing. And usually every time we do anchor or get a mooring buoy and do some water testing, such as pH, conductivity, salinity, depth. And hopefully we can use that material and culminate it into some trending reports and teach the kids, how to culminate data and what to use it for and how to read it.
Cool. So you're taking out the dories that they built? Is that right?
I'm sorry?
You take out the boats that they built, Christina?
Hello? No, okay, I think I can hear you.
Okay. Skype might be cutting out. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Hey, Christina.
Hey, yeah, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we're back from a little Skype break up there. What I was asking was, when you go out on Wednesdays, are you taking out the boats that the kids built over the last few years?
I don't know if these kids have been part of the build. If they do come, usually Saturdays is open to the public. Anyone can come, but that's when the main boat building is. They might have had some part into it, but I'm not quite sure. But definitely The community has been part of building these boats that we do use for training.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very cool. So do you spend any time at the boat school itself, Christina?
I actually don't spend too much time. Everybody knows my car, or the car, because I'm always pulling up because I drop Korey off and I pick him up.
Yeah.
So I do, though, make an effort to go in, and especially when Korey has been on a certain project that he's been telling me a lot about, I do like to go into the shop and have him, he will explain what he's been doing and kind of show me around and kind of explain the processes. So I'm a familiar face. Well, most people know who I am, and I know most of the people there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So do you get a good feel about the place? You like it there?
Oh, I love it here. I was just speaking to someone back home and was saying how of course, it's beautiful here in Washington, but what really makes Port Townsend is the people. I was really excited to get back and talk and hang out with a bunch of the people that we have become really good friends with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. So is that people through the boat school or just people you've met around town? Or
it's been it's been with people in the boat school and around town. The people that the woman that I work for, who we've become really good friends with, our landlord, Seb, who we're really good friends with, and of course everybody at the Community Boat Project, especially to the Chimanes. It's always great to be around them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you hang out at that coffee shop with the volunteer help anymore?
I don't think I've been back there
Really?
since we were there.
Really?
No, we don't frequently go into Port Townsend and have coffee so much, only because we're house sitting in Chimicum, and I've been gone for a little while.
Yeah.
I did go to Better Living Through Coffee yesterday, which is a great place to go for in Port Townsend.
I know where that is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. So how far is Chimicum from the school?
It's actually closer than when we were living before. We were in Port Townsend, but we weren't technically in city limits.
Yeah.
So this house is probably I think I timed it 7 minutes or 8 minutes from the school.
Wow, very nice. Cool. Very good. Well, it's great to hear your voice, Christina, and I'm going to try to get over and see you guys here in the next couple months. So it's great chatting with you, and you want to put Korey back on for a minute?
Yeah, sure. Here, 1 second.
Okay, thanks.
Hey.
Hey, Korey. So, hey, it's good chatting with you guys and catching up and talking about the school and everything. And anything else you'd like to add here?
Yeah, it's good talking to you again, Dan. I don't think so. Besides, for anybody listening, I would definitely recommend coming out here and doing the thing and going to school. And the only advice I would give would be, I know it's hard to do your homework before you come, but go wherever you are, go walk the docks, look at boats, talk to people, learn what goes into boats, and the more you know about the terms and the culture and everything before you come out, I think the more you'll get out of the school. There are people who come and start from nothing, never even been on a boat before, but that's just my personal advice would be you'll get more out of it that way if you get familiar. So, but and go to everything you're invited to. just say yes and to the good things. But you'll definitely fit in this town and in the Northwest if you just enjoy the people and work hard and get out and have a good time and enjoy the scenery. So yeah,
cool.
And that's about it.
Okay. Well, very good. I appreciate your time today, Korey, and we'll chat for a minute here after I turn the tape off. But thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Anytime.
Okay, you take care. Thanks, Korey and Christina, for taking the time to do the interview. It was fun to do that and get caught up on stuff, and hope to see you guys soon in Port Townsend when I come over there. And for those of you listening today, thanks for tuning in. If you're not in the wooden boat game, it's high time you get in. And there's lots of ways to do it. But probably one of the easiest would be to start listening to some more of the podcasts I've done. And also go to a local market and buy a copy of Wooden Boat Magazine. Lots of great info there. Get on the internet, do some research. Go buy some wood and build something, folks. It's a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. You build it with your hands and then you go use it. And you sit in it and you take it out on the water and it protects you from drowning. It's pretty cool. If you go to my website and you'd like to make a donation to help keep the website and the podcast going, I would appreciate it. There's a graphic on my homepage you can click on to make a donation. And also, if you make purchases through Amazon, you can go to hookedonwoodenboats.com/Amazon. And if you make a purchase after you go through that link of anything on Amazon, I get paid a small commission, and I appreciate that. So I hope you guys have a great week. Keep the bright side up and the barnacled side down. Wooden Boat Dan over and out. God bless.